The Angry Chicken Hearthstone podcast is produced by amove.tv. Check out Amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. For more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. And to find many more podcasts with Ridiculous Hat, follow @RidiculousHat on Twitter. Every episode of TAC is made possible thanks to our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leper gnome. I knew it. So hot.
A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. This is The Angry Chicken!
Greetings and welcome back, everyone. This is The Angry Chicken, the podcast all about Hearthstone. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, here as always with Jocelyn Carney. Hi, Joss.
Hello, hello. Chat room's being so kind and sweet right now. They're literally going to make me cry.
Wait till that battle, that won't last long. Wait till they see the OP stuff we have to show today. And also joined here as always with Ridiculous Hat.
Hi.
Hi.
What's up?
Yeah. Dear podcast listeners, catching this as you always do on the download after the fact and not live, if we are making reference to the chat room, is because I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there might be a few new faces here tonight because some monumental things have happened since we last recorded, and we have a surprise or two for you here today. We have new cards to talk about and maybe a card or two to reveal ourselves. That's right. Hi, folks. If you're here watching live, the people hearing this in the future, the podcast listeners are aware of the fact that there is something in the history of this podcast that has gone on for 443 episodes that has achieved meme-worthy status, and it is the fact that while we have had many, many guests from Blizzard on the show and have had all sorts of rad access to Hearthstone over the years, there is one accolade, there's one achievement that has eluded this here very podcast, and is the fact that we have never revealed a Hearthstone card before. And within the next 10 minutes, we are going to rectify that. So, anyways, as always, some housekeeping. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC, including our most recent one, The Real Lure. You get to be a new patron on a historical episode of The Angry Chicken. Congratulations, The Real Lure. So if you like our show, you want to support it, check out patreon.com/TAC. But let's not keep the fine people waiting. Let's get into this week's Hearthstone news and talk some new cards.
Good news, everyone!
All right, it's just new card time like any old week, right? There's nothing new. There's nothing special out of the ordinary we need to do this week.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
You might notice that I'm hovering over Mage, and we usually go in alphabetical class order. That's a little out of the ordinary.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, I feel like I need to, get something off my chest. I feel I need to unveil something. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Perhaps reveal?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, let's see here. What have we got? By the powers of transparent PNGs, I have this one overlay sitting right here that has a new, I believe, a new card to be revealed. And that card is Rune of the Archmage. It's a 9-mana epic mage spell that reads, cast 20 mana worth of mage spells at enemies. This is preposterous. It can't hit me in my own face.
Right?
Big.
I'm so used to accidentally hitting myself with stuff, so enemies only is awesome.
It's, that people talk about big spell support. This is not just a big spell. This is, I'm going to Costco. Do you want anything? Yeah, get me some spells.
This is a palette of spells? You need a membership to buy this palette of spells? Is that what you're saying?
It is what I'm saying, yes. And I mean, we saw so many big spell support cards in today's hilarious raunchy animation video that I'm not surprised they printed this. This is objectively a good deal. You pay 9, you get 20. 20 is more than 9. It's a lot more.
That's some crazy math you're doing, Hat. I don't know.
Thanks.
Yeah. We So I'm gonna let you know how this works. We did get to see this before this exact moment, and we kind of freaked out when we laid eyes on this card for the first time. That's
And yeah, like Hat said, we hadn't even seen the other stuff that was going to come out today. So yeah,
that's right. We were
even crazier than we originally thought.
Yeah, we had a very narrow view of evaluating this card, which was only what had been revealed up until the point we got to see it. So yeah, a lot of everything that's come out today was an absolute big surprise to us, and we're just looking at this. And that being said, I still thought it was absolutely absurd. This seems like a wildly powerful card.
And it specifically only casts mage spells, so like you have some rough idea of what's going on, and this is what Big Spell Mage I think was waiting for, of some kind of payoff they're actually looking for. But I don't know. I feel like maybe there's an opportunity even to play other kinds of mage decks too.
Yeah, no, I don't think you are wrong there. So we got one. Does chat room want to see one more? I think we could muster it.
I don't know. Do you think that do you think they're ready for it? I'm not sure if they are. I think one thing we should mention about Rune of the Archmage as well is that it doesn't have a spell school. Do you think that that's going to be important at all, Garrett?
I mean, if there was maybe a card in Mage that like recast spells of a certain spell school, I feel like the omission from spell school on Rune of the Archmage would be really important. It would probably be even more important if that were the legendary hero card for Mage. Does everyone want to see the legendary hero card for Mage?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. It's starting to dawn on me. I'm starting to grasp it.
Oh, well, this is no sheer magic. It is a Magister. Take a look at Magister Dawn Grasp, an 8-mana legendary mage hero card. As with all of them, you're going to get yourself 5 armor for your trouble, but what you're really interested in is that battle cry and that hero power. The battle cry on Magister Dawn Grasp is to recast a spell from each spell school you've cast this game. Which, very importantly, to flip back to Rune of the Archmage real fast, does not have a spell school, so don't worry. You're not going to be
of these shenanigans.
Yes, that was all three of us had to like double take. Like, wait, well, hold up a second. But yeah, you don't need to worry about extra Rune of the Archmages from Magister Dawngrasp, but you will need to worry about Dawngrasp's hero power, which is called Arcane Burst. It's going to cost you 2 mana, and it deals 1 damage, but it also has Honorable Kill, gain +2 damage.
So this hero power is actually going to continue growing as you honorably kill things, which is kind of interesting because it gets more powerful if you aim it at minions. But I mean, who wants to hit minions with stuff? I want to, face.
So, okay. You know the card Wildfire. It's a fire spell. When you cast this, maybe we recast that Wildfire and maybe we have like, I don't know, a Reckless Apprentice. And then maybe we start pinging some stuff off. And then maybe this keeps getting bigger. I don't know. Just something to think about.
I mean, I'm excited for anything that supports Hero Power Mage, honestly. I feel like we've been doing spell magey things for so long that it'd be really cool to lean into Hero Power Mage.
Is there any one of us here that hasn't been really excited about the potential of Hero Power Mage at least once since Hat joined us permanently? Like, I feel like at least once all of us have been like, oh, I really hope it works this expansion.
I have been Mordrished on 8 after the buff, and I was hyped about doing that to other people after it, destroyed me because there was a lot of damage. But this also, it looks really interesting of the idea of just a hero power that you can build over time, plus this really big effect for Magister Dawngrasp where you're just recasting a bunch of stuff. I don't know if there's any way for Mage to get other spell schools. Right now, I think it's mostly Fire, Frost, and Arcane. But I don't think that they print text like this without some kind of other support. People were saying that earlier today. Where's the big spell? They showed the tower. They showed the other legendary Stonehearth. Where's the big spell? Well, It's right here in this show. So I'm wondering what the trick is here to add more spells to our pool from other spell schools. I'm sure there's something.
I, yeah, I mean, there has to be. This harkens back to some conversations we were having last week when we were looking at things that were revealed, like secret help in Hunter, for example, and just going, well, there's got to be more secret stuff coming down the pipeline. You want to take a look at the other mage cards that have been revealed, and we can bounce back and forth to Dawn Grasp and Rune of the Archmage as needed. We all good with that? Cool.
Maybe it's on the site now because, we're a real podcast.
We're a real podcast? Yeah. Oh, wait, if I hit refresh, will it be here? I'm sorry. I'm just very excited to be part of a card reveal, and now I want to see. Okay, it's not up yet.
No, not
our reveals are not live on the site just yet.
You didn't want to steal our thunder, so thank you.
That's great.
Team
I appreciate
Hearthstone.
that. I was curious.
Chat room, we also do not have one more card. That was it. They gave us 2. That was it. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, there were 3 images because we got a hero power to show you.
That's true.
Yeah. It's like whoever got to reveal Build a Snowman got to show multiple cards. But yeah, we also got to look at, and this is not our reveal, but other cards that have been revealed. We got to look at the other legendary mage, which is Belinda Stonehearth, a 6-mana 5/5 legendary mage minion that reads Battlecry, draw 2 spells, swap their costs with this minion's stats.
This took me a couple minutes to wrap my head around, but this was one of the ones from the raunchy animation, and it works in such a cool, fun way. So basically, both the spells that you draw are going to cost 5 because the minion is a 5/5, and then whatever the cost of the spells was originally, the first spell becomes the attack, and then the second spell becomes the health of your new 6-mana minion. So shenanigans. It's craziness. Like, these mage cards are nuts. Like, not anything I ever would have thought of.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn hyped for mage, and comments from a certain Chad is making a lot more sense from our chat room last week when someone said they're really excited for a new type of mage. It's starting to come into view.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so much conversation over the course of this year from both the community and in some dev interviews about how everything was really pushed pretty ruthlessly towards efficiency. There were a lot of low-cost stuff, a lot of cheap spells that decks were really focused on packing as many low-cost things they could. And I think Alex said in an interview on one of my other shows that they were really aware and they wanted some big, cool things to happen. We've seen how they want to do that now. They have a bunch of defensive tools printed in the set, like Freeze is a major part of the set, it slows things down inherently. They've been nerfing a lot of the from hand stuff, and now we see these really big bombastic payoffs that reward card advantage. They let you bridge the gap between the beginning of the game and the end of the game, and they give you something really powerful to do later. So I'm excited to see how this works out. Normally, you look at cards like Belinda Stonehearth and Iceblood Tower and all this, and you think that maybe it's not targeted to be more competitive, but I don't know. I think that they might be aiming for this to be a bigger part of the meta.
Yeah. And, I can think of a certain spell that I might be excited to draw and swap the cost on. Just saying, there might be a 9-mana card that the coolest podcast in the world got to reveal.
Garrett, I'm so excited that you are so excited about this card, because when I saw it, I was like, of course they would give Garrett a totally random casting card to reveal.
I 100% am of the belief that they were like, yeah, let's let Angry Chicken reveal it and force Garrett to be stoked about something that is Yogg adjacent.
Yeah.
It's more controlled, though, where things are going, and it's 20 mana, right? It's not 20 spells, so yeah.
Right. Oh my god, it's 20 spells.
No joke. The first time I read this card, I thought it said 20 spells, and I was just, oh god, I had like a minor Hearthstone heart attack. So yeah, but yeah, Belinda Stonehearth seems to want to make friends with Rune of the Archmage. I think that's
very much.
I think that's likely. Another card that mage card we haven't had a chance to talk about since last week was Iceblood Tower. This is another objective card. It's going to cost you 10 mana. It's a rare mage spell with no spell school. It reads at the end of your turn, cast another spell from your deck, and it lasts 3 turns. Can anyone think of a really expensive spell that does cool things that would be really good if it was just cast from your deck.
Yeah, especially if you didn't have to pay, like, say, 9 mana for it.
Is it deep freeze? Is it deep freeze?
Absolutely.
It's
No, it's
certainly
grand
not.
finale. Is it grand finale?
It's certainly not the
Ooh,
card that was.
Pyroblast.
Certainly not the card
Is it
that
Glacial
was.
Mysteries? It's not Glacial Mysteries.
You guys
It's
familiar
a
with?
frost spell. So if you play Glacial Mysteries, then your Dawn Grasp recast Glacial Mysteries. You can get more secrets.
Yeah, yeah. Are you guys familiar with that really cool podcast, Angry Chicken? They revealed a card called Rune of the Archmage, which is 9 mana and lets you cast 20 mana worth of mage spells at enemies. That would be good to get off of Ice Blood Tower.
Probably better than Glacial Mysteries, huh?
Just a little bit. I'm not 100% sure of it, but it could be. This is no longer a bit. I like objectives. I really, really hope they land. This whole idea of these multi-turn spanning effects. I really, really want these to be a thing.
It seems like the kind of card with all the other support that we've seen that you're never going to pay 10 mana for, right? Like, some way, shape, or form, this is going to get cast from your deck, or it's going to have its mana cost changed. Like, something about that. You're not going to pay 10 for this. Are we okay with it, even if I did pay 10 for this?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be stoked to pay 10 for this.
I'd like to be in the position where I get to pay 10 for this and I'm not like dead and stuff.
I mean, we did have certain developers in chat last week saying the intent is to slow the meta down. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Don't direct quote that.
There are a lot of ways to make this happen without paying 10. I think if you whiff on all of those, then something has gone wrong with how that game has gone. So I don't know. I don't want to build around the scenario of what if my deck doesn't work, because most cards are bad if your deck doesn't work. I think that if you play Celestial Inkset, if you end up with Belinda, and maybe there's other synergy we haven't seen yet, you shouldn't have to pay full price for this, because if that's a routine scenario that's happening, the deck is not functioning. And I don't think that's realistic, but the effect is very, very strong. Like, the effect is strong objectively.
Get out.
Okay, I can go if you want.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to go outside if we want to build a snowman.
Look at that segue. You're a professional.
I know, right? Like, no joke. Hi, Florida boy here. I just read the Frozen Ride for the first time, and yeah, this song's been caught in my head for a few days.
Oh yeah, it's never going away.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to talk about Build a Snowman, a 3-mana rare mage frost spell, which reads summon a 3/3 snowman that freezes, add Build a Snow Brute to your hand. So Snow Brute, Build a Snow Brute is 6 mana, summon a 6/6 Snow Brute that freezes, add Build a Snow Gur to your hand. And Build a Snowger is 9 mana, summon a 9/9 Snowger that freezes. Are you sure you don't secretly work for the Hearthstone team hat with the way that the punnies are just rolling off of this growing spell card?
Garrett, I'm an influencer.
Oh, you know how much I love that word.
I do. Almost as much as you love snow puns.
Well, if you could just cool it for a minute, I'd appreciate it. So what do we think of Build a Snowman, which then turns into Build a Snow Brute, which then turns into Build a Snow Gur?
This used to be called Pyros. It was a fiery bird instead of a cool guy. I mean, it's a frost spell that doesn't have to target, but I think that optimizing for Quest Mage is a lot less necessary these days, because that card and deck is bad now. So maybe that'll change, but I don't know if I'd call this card particularly exciting. It's really valuable, but I think it would fit other metas in Hearthstone history where things go a little bit longer and you want some more resources. I don't see that being where Hearthstone is now. Maybe it gets there, but if we want value, Then Garrett cuts to a scene of the 9 mana card that we revealed, and like there's 20 mana worth of value in there. Slap the roof of the card, you can fit so many spells in
Are
this thing.
you
You know,
talking
get the
about
idea.
Rune of the Archmage, the 9 mana epic
See,
mage
this is what I
spell
said was going to happen.
that casts 20
Yeah.
mana worth of mage spells at enemies that was revealed exclusively by the Angry Chicken podcast, a podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that that's exactly the one you were talking about, that card that was revealed by the Angry Chicken podcast.
Very subtle.
Cool. That's what I was going for. Yeah, I think that's good. And before we move into our normal rundown of the rest of the cards that have been revealed since our last episode, in case the live viewer, if there's any new live viewers, one more time we'll show Rune of the Archmage. This is the card we got to reveal tonight. We have one more card we got to reveal, which was Magister Dawn Grasp, 8 mana Battlecry. Recast a spell from each spell school you've cast this game. This is the legendary Mage Hero card, and the hero power seems to really be pushing that hero power mage fantasy because it makes it deal 1 damage for 2 mana, but it also has honorable kill, gain +2 damage. I'm very excited about Dawn. Are we going to just start calling it Dawngrasp Mage?
Maybe.
Don't you mean Magey?
No.
Wow, I don't know if you guys had a secret meeting before tonight or something where you were just like, okay, every other sentence, puns, go.
We started
that's
with
how I live
Mage,
my
where
life.
the cards are literally puns. So it was a little difficult. So, huge thanks to the Hearthstone team for letting us reveal these 2 cards. And now we'll move on with our regularly scheduled programming, as if this was some kind of like TV show or something. But yeah, we figured we'd stay in Mage while we were revealing the Mage cards. We'll now move our way up to. I'm not alphabetical anymore.
I don't know how the list is sorted, but yeah, I have Warrior, then Neutral, then Demon Hunter, which feels like not how the alphabet works.
Yeah, I F5'd and something weird happened.
I think that's most recent.
Now we're back to normal.
Uh-huh.
So let's get up to Demon Hunter. But before we do, let's take a quick break and thank today's sponsor. We have a sponsor in today's episode. Today's episode is sponsored by Honey, which you can check out by going to joinhoney.com/TAC. And we all shop online, right? I shop online. Joss, Hat.
I'm pretty sure everyone does, especially this time of year.
I shopped online today.
What are you going to do? Go outside in the cold weather? I live in Florida, but I'm assuming it's cold where Hat and Joss lives.
It's snowing where I am right now.
Oh,
I
God.
could literally build a snowman.
Yeah. Well, if you shop online, you've seen that promo field taunting you at checkout. You don't need to worry about it anymore thanks to Honey, because you won't need to manually search for coupon codes. It'll be a thing of the past. Honey's a free browser extension, if you haven't heard of it. It scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart, and it supports over 30,000 stores online. And what I like about it is that I've had it installed for like a few years and literally don't think about it. It just pops up and does the thing that it needs to do when I need it to do it. It's like, oh, you're shopping? I found a code. Would you like to save money? I go, yeah, that's nice. Thank you. And it works. Very recently I was just, ordering myself some Panera. Got $3, $3 off. I ate healthier than usual and I didn't pay as much for it, which was nice. I don't usually eat that healthy. I really don't. I really, really don't. It's been popping up quite a bit recently when I've been solidifying my holiday shopping. So it could also, influence things. Not saying that I only buy things when they're on special for my loved ones, but it doesn't hurt.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's so great about Honey is that you know what you want to buy already. And it's like, hey, you're going to buy this thing for your loved one. Would you like to make it cheaper? So you're making the choice first and then getting the discount, not looking for the discount, then making the choice.
That's
You're
a very
still
good distinction.
Very thoughtful, Garrett.
Yeah, exactly. See, you get me. You get me.
Yeah.
So, anyways, check it out. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in just a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid, and you'll be supporting us here on the Angry Chicken. So go get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/TAC. That's joinhoney.com/TAC. And now let's talk about Demon Hunter. And maybe also there was an interesting clarification that I hadn't even considered about the mage spell we got to reveal, Rune of the Archmage. Someone in chat room asked, can it cast itself? To which multiple lovely developers that are hanging out in our chat room clarified, no, it cannot. So don't worry about Rune of the Archmage going infinite.
I don't know if this is a hard or like an exception for how everything works, but generally the way that things work in Hearthstone now is that they can't do anything that references their own name. Like I know with the Discover nerf, they managed to like Renew can't find Renew, that sort of thing. But also I've noticed in Wild, if you do Shutterwalk and Macaw, like Macaw will never cast another Macaw and Shutterwalk will never cast another Shutterwalk. So I think generally these kind of effects are, you can expect that they won't do anything that references another copy of themselves in basically any context. So that would be, if this was runes all the way down, that'd be too much.
Okay, but we have a question in the chat room. Can Rune cast box, then cast Rune, then cast box?
How much box could a rune box cast if a rune box couldn't cast runes?
I feel like if that is happening, you are going to have the most wildly popular YouTube video of life.
So I have a real answer for that, because Shutterwalk and Macaw, like I referenced earlier, when Shutterwalk recasts a Macaw, if the last Battlecry was a Shutterwalk, the Shutterwalk Macaw can't recast either a Shutterwalk or a Macaw. So while the stack is resolving, I'm saying too many words. I think the short version is no, the box cannot cast a rune. It won't. Anything that's currently happening won't happen again until the entire batch of spells is done. But the real answer here is that Celestalon asked that question, and he's just trolling in our chat. So, Chad, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being you. We appreciate it. All right, let's talk.
The clarifications, even if they're trolly ones.
Let's talk Jocelyn's favorite class. Let's talk Demon Hunter. You started playing it, so it is confirmed. It's Angry Chicken canon that it is your favorite class.
I played it for like 2 days.
There's quite a few cards from Jocelyn's absolute favorite class of all time that we haven't talked about yet, including a new legendary Carria Fellsoul, a 6-mana 6/6 legendary Demon Hunter minion with a battle cry that reads transform into a 6/6 copy of a demon in your deck. That's a lot of sixes. This is like a double Mark of the Beast, almost. It needs one more 6.
Yeah, this is Death Rattle Demon Hunter. I feel like I was about to say something. I cut him off. Sorry, dude.
No, it's okay. So the Demon Hunter, Joss, that you disliked, there is none of that in the cards we're about to look at. Maybe the weapon at the end, but they go in big. Big Demon Hunter is something that's been memed on for literally since the class came out, I think. But they're really trying to make it a reality here, because there's Carria Fellsoul it looks for a demon and becomes a big copy of it. And there are a lot of large demon synergy cards going on here, and no Twin Slices or Altruists or Stilt Steppers or whatever low-cost damage cards you want to see, with maybe the exception of the weapon, as I mentioned. There's kind of like this weird tokeny Demon Hunter theme that we'll see in a couple of the cards, but most of the cards that we've seen recently are large, substantial, significant, big, greater in magnitude, colossal. I'm finding more synonyms for big.
This literally a new demon named Giant that we're going to talk about here in a second. But first I wanted to talk about Sigil of Reckoning, because it's more kind of demon synergy, demon interplay, because Sigil of Reckoning is a 5-mana epic demon fell spell that reads, at the start of your next turn, summon a random demon from your hand.
But this one is not an objective. This is just one time at the next turn, not for the next 3 turns. So
no, mercifully, all of the objectives specify that it's over the next 3 turns in the card text. Because if I had to remember that, I'd be very cranky.
Yeah. No, this is single serving Skull of the Minari. Like it's disposable. It's one drop of a demon from your hand, and then you just go about your business. So it's most of the sigils we've seen are on the smaller side, but this is just like it's a pretty big thing. You take a turn off, but then I don't know, maybe you drop an Illidari Inquisitor into play, and then you attack something and also something else. Sounds fun. I would do that.
Yeah, I would too. I'm still most excited about Token Demon Hunter, which it would appear we've gotten, I think, a couple cards that continue to play on that hopeful future for Demon Hunter that we touched on last week. And by all means, step in if you think I'm off base, but I'm looking at Urzel Giant as well as Field of Strife. So Urzel Giant is a 13 mana epic Demon Hunter demon. It's an 8/8, and it costs 1 less for each friendly minion that died this game, which makes me immediately think tokens. And then Field of Strife is a 2 mana rare Demon Hunter spell. It's an objective. Your minions have +1 attack, and it lasts 3 turns. So I look at these
more
two.
minions, more objective use.
Were you about to say more minions, more problems?
No, you were about to say that.
I did say
You did
that.
say it.
Yeah. So
I was there.
We've got a giant 13 mana demon that would be impossible to play unless we were, playing a deck that had multiple, maybe smaller minions that would die. That would reduce its cost. And we might like it if those small multi-minions had +1 attack and maybe kept giving +1 attack over 3 turns, which is what Field of Strife does.
So Field of Strife is definitely different from what we've seen from Demon Hunter so far. They've had a few various token synergy cards, like Wrathscale Naga is the one that comes to mind. They've never really panned out here. Urzel Giant is fascinating because if you have these two archetypes that have both been half finished for a long time, of Big Demon Hunter and Token Demon Hunter, this is both. This is something that lets you bridge the gap between those two, because you can play spells that generate minions. Sigil of Summoning on turn 2, which makes the 2/2/2 taunts. There are a few other spells that have been around for the years, like there's been a 3-mana one that makes 3/1/1 rushers, or a 5-mana one that makes 6/1/1 rushers. There are a bunch of different ways to make small minions without having to play the minions, which means your deck has more room for large demons. And this is a large demon. And so you can either cheat it out by going to, drop it and play with Sigil of Reckoning, or you can just have a bunch of small things die and then you just play it. And I think it's important for this kind of card to exist because it looks pretty powerful and there's multiple different ways to build around it, and you can potentially do both at once.
You'll
so
hear
kind of maybe like early game plan, late game plan,
Yeah.
smooshed all
Something
into
like that.
one.
one might call that a curve.
Imagine that. Are we getting maybe close to that magical M name of a deck that we haven't had in so long? Mid range.
Oh! I actually was legitimately in the dark there for a second. I'm like, wait, what?
See, it's been so long, no one remembers. There were mid range decks.
We had so much mid-range in Barons. It hasn't been that long. I thought you were going to say Mage, and then we were going to talk about, Rune of the Archmage again.
Oh, are you talking? Did you say Rune of the Archmage? I heard the Angry Chicken
sorry, Jeff, that
podcast
was my
got to
fault.
reveal that
That
card.
was my fault.
I heard, and they also got to reveal Magister Dawngrasp. They also got to, that was great.
This is all show, isn't it?
This is
Just
great.
all show.
It's
Okay.
not every day
it's-
that you get to
That one's on
reveal
me.
your first card.
You get the next one. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just occurred to me, I don't know why, because it's not subtle, that Urzel Giant is the art in Sigil of Reckoning. Almost like they're telling you what they
These two
hope
go together.
you get to pull with your Sigil of Reckoning. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. We also we haven't had a chance to talk about Warden of Chains, a 4-mana 2/6 rare Demon Hunter minion with taunt, and a battle cry that reads, if you're holding a demon that costs 5 or more, gain +1/+2.
This is not a
3/8
demon.
for 4. Yeah. It's not. Good call.
That's very important because you don't want to carry into this or drop it into play with Sigil of Reckoning. This is explicit big demon support because it's not a demon and it likes big demons. So
That is carry a protection. Hadn't thought about that, but it's a good thing. It's a warden. It's Demon Hunter. Looks like, by the look of things. I also think that's
Yeah.
that's Urzel Giant in the background. Yeah, we're starting to see a theme here.
Yeah. They're basically telling us how to build our deck with the art.
It's good stuff. I love that there's a crossover here too, because we're clearly talking about, like you said, the crossover continues. This crossover between the desire for big demons and the desire for tokens might just get to do both.
Yeah. And we still have how many cards per set do we get? 10, I think. 10?
10 cards per set per class? What are you talking about?
Per class, yeah.
Per class,
yeah.
okay.
So we still have 2 legendaries left. We haven't, or no, 1 legendary. We have Kurtrus still left, and then we have a couple more cards here. So it's entirely possible the last 3 cards will have even more support.
That's right. I keep having the double take when someone just proclaims, "Oh, we still have this legendary hero card left," and it's like, it's the mercenaries. Yeah, duh.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, wait a second, were you supposed to say that? Do you know something I don't know? But it's
That knows all the things.
They're the mercenaries. Yeah, just still getting used to that. We also haven't had a chance to talk about Dread Prison Glaive. 1 mana, 1 attack, 3 durability, common demon hunter weapon with honorable kill, deal damage equal to your hero's attack to the enemy hero. I'm afraid of this card.
I feel like this is gonna hurt my face.
I mean, hopefully.
Well,
I mean, not yours specifically, but like somebody's face.
Well, if I had to
prefer
smack
your
talk
face
for
I'm
a
gonna be on the receiving end of this card.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt my face.
If I had to smack talk this, I think maybe don't worry about it because there's nothing honorable about Demon Hunter. So they're never going to get an honorable kill.
They're never gonna use it because they're just not honorable. Oof.
Yeah. All right, let's move into Druid. That's all of the Demon Hunter cards we haven't already talked about. If you're watching live and you're like, wait, they skipped some. We talked about them last week. Moving on. Also, let me know if anything isn't in the show notes that has been revealed that I missed it. Let's talk about Druid, and let's start with Frost Saber Matriarch, a 7-mana 4/5 epic Druid beast with taunt and reads. Costs 1 less for each beast you've summoned this game.
Beast from below. Remember Thing from Below?
You're not
From below,
wrong.
yeah.
Sorry, I was just like, Thing from Below. What does it do? Oh, yes, Hat is right. Of course, Hat's right.
My co-host Zach O on the Vicious Syndicate podcast said Beast from Below, and I said that's what this is. And then here we are. And so I'm spreading the word because it's for those of us back in our day. We were playing back in Whispers of the Old Gods when they tried to make Shaman good. Not first time,
Is
like
that
fourth
how
time.
long ago that was? Oh my god.
Yep. Because it was the same set as 4 mana 7/7, which was a faceless.
Right.
Yeah.
So long ago.
Also, this card good. This good card.
Yeah.
Especially with the other two, like there's a whole lot of beast support in Druid in this expansion, it seems. And the 2/2 wolves with stealth that we're gonna talk about. Oh my god, cutest, most adorablest art of life ever.
Yeah, I mean, you want
They
to
win this expansion.
I mean, you're talking about member when with Thing from Below. I want to talk about member when with being hopeful we'd ever see a viable beast druid, and now look at the embarrassment of riches we find ourselves with.
Which time, Garrett?
Literally years of them continually adding like 1 or 2 beasts per expansion, and it never worked. This is what, 3-4 years ago at this point.
Remember back in Karazhan when Menagerie Warden on Stranglethorn Tiger was gonna break the meta and need a day 1 nerf, and it saw play for about 45 minutes, and then that was it.
Yeah, that was. I do remember that. Menagerie Warden really kind of got the fires burning, and I want to say for at least a year, every expansion during the preview, we were like, maybe it's Beast Druid's time, maybe, and it wasn't. It wasn't until much more recently than that. But let's continue and talk about Frostwolf Kennels, a 3-mana rare druid spell that reads at the end of your turn, summon a 2/2 wolf with stealth. It's an objective, so it lasts 3 turns.
Hover over the cup. Look at the cup. Look how cute.
Love him.
For the audio listeners, it's an adorable baby Frostwolf cub that's about to murder a squirrel in cold blood.
The murder makes it cuter.
Oh boy.
Can we get some?
I
new
was going to say they're going to be
Brightwing
friends, but now I'm not sure that these are my friends. I feel nervous.
It's like the essence of Brightwing. Come on.
That is true.
That Frostwolf Cub looks remarkably like my large Chihuahua Zelda. I would like copyright on this, please. Yeah, that's this seems like a solid quest. I mean, especially after like coming out of like a 10 or not a quest, an objective, like a 10 mana objective, like something that's played this early. Like paying 3 mana and getting 3 2/2s over 3 turns seems really good to me. Am I off base here?
With stealth too, remember? So
Yeah,
they're probably going to stick around to be buffed or be able to attack and do their thing. And there's a couple of different because there's also the dire Frostwolf that summons these 2/2 wolves with stealth. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of these like little stealth token summoning pieces that are in this set so far.
Yeah, the dire Frostwolf you just mentioned is a 4 mana 4/4 common Druid beast, has stealth, and the death rattle summon 2. It's the same thing. It's the exact same token minion. Mm-hmm. It summons 2 of these Frostwolf cubs. So, I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, the stealth is important. Druids have a history, just for a few many years of wanting to buff their board full of minions, and stealth certainly helps them accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, we're looking at the Frostwolf Kennels. Beast from Below cares about summons, not plays. So if you end up with Frostwolf Kennels in play, then you're after a couple turns, your Matriarch's going to be pretty cheap. If you play any other beast, a Park Panther, or whatever, or Adorable Infestation token, any number of things, you're probably going to get a pretty competitive rate there. And also all these stealth minions. On turn 3, if you play turn 3 Kennels, turn 4 Dire Frostwolf, Arbor Up hits for 18? 18. That's
Ooh, wow. Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's something like that.
I can already like sense like getting to turn 3 against a Druid and just
14.
bracing for Frostwolf
14, I did
counts.
my math wrong.
We'll forgive you.
Thank you.
That's still a lot of damage.
Yes.
It's a bunch. And that's assuming that you do nothing else with your turn 1 and 2, and you just go turn 3 objective, turn 4, 4, turn 5, Arbor Up. I'm glad they rotated Savage Roar, because that would have been too good, I think.
There's one more Druid card we haven't talked about since reveals have kicked off, which is Capture Coldtooth Mine, where my Alterac Valley OG's at. It's a 2 mana epic Druid spell. There's no school associated with it. It's a choose one. Draw your lowest cost card or draw your highest cost card.
That's a pretty cool choose one effect.
Yeah.
They're so creative with Druid Draw these days. Like, they just made Moonlit Guidance a month ago, and I love that card. And then this is also, like, it's fascinating. Because I can totally see just, like, this being a really relevant choice based on when you draw this, when you play this, what you're looking for, what you're against. It enables player agency and also rewards smart deck building in a really precise way.
I really like when cards don't matter when I draw them. Like stuff that if I draw it late game, it's not totally dead. Things that I can play even at the beginning, and I don't have to wait a whole big long time. And like you said, player agency, let me decide when is best to actually use this tool. So I really like this card.
Yeah, it gets more interesting, right? Like the longer it's just in your hand, and as you draw cards, like you get another spell off the top, you go, oh, wait, okay, Capture Coldtooth Mine. Now, how does that change my options on this card? Mm-hmm. So, like, if this is in your hand, every other time you draw a spell, it just triggers your brain. You just go, oh, wait, let me analyze the situation. A lot of times it might be a spell that's in between the highest and the lowest, and you're like, okay, no change, moving on. But, yeah, there's depth to this card. And I like it, and it's also the type of card that makes me really thankful for deck trackers.
Yes.
Just saying. Hunter, going to be one of the briefer discussions today, but that's because it was one of the longer discussions on last week's episode. We haven't had a chance to talk about Spring the Trap, a 4-mana epic hunter spell. Again, no school. Deal 3 damage to a minion and cast a secret from your deck. Honorable kill. Cast 2. Oh, hey, look, guys. another secret synergy spell.
Yeah, there's support here, but we still haven't seen what I think we're all convinced is coming, and that is whatever the secret is in this set. There's got to be a hunter secret in this set, right?
There was another reveal at 8, right? What if I hit F5? Is it going to screw things up?
I'm pretty sure that it was
the warrior hero card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darn.
Nice.
Yeah.
Try,
We'll talk about her, by the way.
Yeah.
She's interesting.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah. There's so many interesting secret synergies that are coming in this set. Like, I don't know. It'd have to be
overt, right? Like, it's pretty clear that they really want us to play a bunch of secrets. You don't print Dunbalder Bunker and Ram Tamer and Spring the Trap without, like, that's 2, 3, 4, and it's all secret stuff. They really want us to do secret stuff.
So, like, yeah, I think it would have to be a pretty, whatever the new secret is, it would have to be a pretty big stinker to, like, not make this whatever this new variation of Secret Hunter kind of pop off, because they're getting so many secret tools. We're getting certain people in chat room going, I wonder what Tavish will do in the chat room. I'm raising eyebrows at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a person who works on Hearthstone. His name starts with a C and rhymes with Celestalon. Spring the Trap also. I want to just this is the chocolate and peanut butter here is flanking strike and ring toss. We got a little bit of flanking strike and a little bit of ring toss, and we're just mixing them together, and that's also a really good deal, I think. Because normally for 2 secrets, I don't get the 3 damage there, and there is potentially a lot of value here.
It's that potential, right? Like, I wouldn't be mad with secrets we currently have in the game. It's just that it's card reveal season. I want to get excited about the new stuff. So, just a minor critique. We got a card reveal today, so, like, clearly everything is perfect and I have no critiques, but just a minor critique. I would have liked to see the secret first. That's all I got.
But then it wouldn't be
a secret.
You see where I'm going with this, right? Yeah.
One might say
that it wouldn't keep us in suspense. Then we would know whether we were excited about Secret Hunter or not, because we'd be like, "Oh, the secret's not that great," and then so all the secret support would come, and we'd be like, "Eh."
Well, if Secret Hunter,
maybe it's last, so that we just stay excited, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking about Hunter here, so it's possible that Secret Hunter is a trap. I don't know.
All I know is it's a secret to everybody.
Traps.
I just can't with you guys tonight.
We're excited.
Are we?
All right.
It effed up the alphabetical again. What's going on here? Oh, anytime I hit F5, it does not. The official site is not happy. Is not happy. Okay. So, where we leave off? We talked Mage already, so we're skipping to Paladin, and the only Paladin card we haven't talked about yet is, I'm gonna butcher this one. Sidon? I don't know. Sedan sounds right. Sedan the Scarlet. 3 mana, 2/2 legendary Paladin minion. Rush. Whenever this minion gains attack or health, double that amount wherever this is.
That's super cool. The idea that it doesn't have to be in your hand or whatever, or can be on board, doesn't
hand
have
buffs.
to be. Yeah, buff things, board buff things.
Like if you have a jewel kit on 1 and it procs 3 times, this is an 8/8? Wait, this is an 8/8? It's +1/+1 times 2 times 3.
+2.
+2 more, off of the.
It's an 8/8.
Stats, yeah.
Yeah.
If it takes just a jewel kit, assuming no Alliance Bannerman, no other hand buff, whatever, just a jewel kit, it's in 3 mana 8/8 rush.
That seems pretty decent.
That seems like I'll still be playing Paladin.
Well, especially when it's whenever this minion gains attack or health, you know what gives minions attack and health? Librams. You know what Paladin's still playing? Librams. Seems like not a big stretch.
Yeah. I mean, there's, Cariel's hero power works really well here. There's all sorts of ways to buff this thing. If you can figure out how to get a Blessing of Authority on it, that's just a lot of numbers. Like, just so many numbers.
Yeah, reminder for audio listeners, the Cariel's hero power is Blessing of Queens. You have a random minion in your hand, +4/+4.
So for this minion, it would be +8/+8, which would make it a 10/10 with Rush for 3.
It's a random minion. You could target it, but this is also a legendary, so at best there'd only be one copy in your hand. Other shenanigans notwithstanding.
But Hearthstone is made of shenanigans now, Garrett.
They really, I want to bring
shenanigans.
back.
Now everyone's doing shenanigans.
I want to bring back the tagline on Hearthstone, but instead of Heroes of Warcraft, Shenanigans of Warcraft, or Heroes of Shenanigans.
So I have to point out, Hula Gaming in the chat said it's Sidon when it's a 4/4, but if it's just a 2/2, it's only a coup. And I had to say that out loud.
Wow.
I don't get that joke at all.
It's a car joke. I got a car joke before Garrett did.
No
Oh,
way.
a sedan. Oh, I get
Yeah.
it now.
But it's a coupe with 2
Yeah,
doors.
okay.
Yeah, it's a smaller car.
But a coupe is more interesting than a sedan. Sorry. Boy. Hey, I didn't get a car joke. Two firsts happened today.
Amazing.
All right, y'all want to talk about Priest and maybe trigger some people in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This is, speaking of shenanigans, Zyrella was, I guess, Tice's reveal this morning, and I feel like she is all that my Twitter's been talking about.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it here on the Angry Chicken. So Zyrella the Devout is the hero card for Priest, 8 mana, legendary Priest hero card, 5 armor. Battle Cry triggered the death rattle of every friendly minion that died this game. And the hero power is called Holy Touch, still going to cost you 2 mana. Restore 5 health, flip each turn. And what it can flip to is Void Spike, still 2 mana, deal 5 damage, flip each turn.
Yeah, so like Shudderwalk, but for death rattles, and also every other turn you get Mind Blast in a button.
This is a lot. So if you want to make a control card that looks reasonable in 2021, I think you make a card that looks like Zyrella Devout. Because that hero power is value over time. It's not all that fast, but it's a large number. 2 mana for 5 something is a large number. And I would compare her ability. People are calling Shudderwalk for death rattles. I think that I would lean more towards like a Jace Darkweaver equivalent. But it's a similar sort of thing. And the way it works, it looks at base copies of dead minions that have died on your side and does what they would do if you would just put them in place. So the most common question that I've seen on Twitter all day today is Undying Disciple, the 6 mana 3/7 that when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to enemy minions. So a base version of this that you would just play from your hand or top deck and just play it is a 3/7. So it would deal 3 damage when it dies. So the way to understand how Zyrella works, pretend you just played this and then it instantly died, do whatever that would do. So it deals 3. So that means Zyrella Devout can be a board clear with this, or Explosive Sheep. It can gain you a bunch of life with Light Shower Elemental or Morg Forge Fiend. It can deal direct damage to the face with Shadowed Spirit. It can do all sorts of things. All sorts of stuff. And also you happen to have this hero power that, you get the healing, get the damage. Reminds me of a slower version of Blood Reaver Gul'dan's hero power, and that's a pretty good comparison to make.
Yeah, that is true. It's fairly close. Because his was like a 12 health swing, right? So this is 10 for the same mana over the same number of turns. Right? Because he would heal 6, damage 6 with 2 sucks.
Did you just say 2 sucks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Gul'dan did.
That's what Gul'dan did. It had the big vampire teeth. There was the sucks.
That was the colloquial term. It was spelled suck with 2 C's. It was SUCC. That's
That's a thing. I'm not making this up.
this is a real thing. Joss is not making this up, Garrett.
I'm not saying you made it up. I'm just saying I wasn't prepared for that sentence. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, yeah, you're not wrong there. Zyrella is a really exciting card, and is a card that I am very excited for. But I don't think I'm hesitating to say this because, oh boy, it's gonna be fun when I'm wrong. But I don't think it's like bonkers out of this world busted.
No. This is an 8-mana card that assumes you did things already and you will stay alive for more of the game to do more things. But because the format and because the sets this year have been so focused on early game cards, they can crank up the later game stuff, and it's not really going to throw things out of whack too much, because if you can get to the point where you can play this, you get the value, and then you get a few more turns, you deserve to have something powerful.
We don't have any death rattles that repeat death rattles, do we?
I don't think so, that work the way you want them to.
Yeah.
Terran Gorfine does nothing here, right? Like, because it triggers a base copy of Terran as though you top decked an empty board and it dies, which does nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there will be more support for this because they've been pushing Death Rattle Resurrection Priest pretty hard. Amulet of the Undying just came out. We should see a couple more support cards, I think, for this archetype.
Yeah, things that would be scary would be things that duplicate death rattles, or a death rattle that replays battle cries cast this game. Like, that would be potentially terrifying, but we don't have anything like that at the moment.
No.
At the moment. I'm looking at you, 2022. You be kind to us. Remember, this card exists. In a safe way, not in a you want to see how far you can push away. So, but for right now, this is a card I very much want to play around with the Death Rattle Priest that wants to run this.
And we'll have 4 months. We'll have one set where we get this and N'Zoth. So enjoy that while you got it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we kind of already talked about Undying Disciple. As a reminder, that's a 6-mana 3/7 that Hat mentioned that has Taunt and Death Rattle deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. I don't think there's really much else to say about that. I think it's a cool card. The other Priest Legendary, though, has been revealed, and we haven't talked about it yet. That's Najak Hexen. 4-mana, 1/4, Battle Cry, take control of an enemy minion, Death Rattle, give the minion back.
So mind control on a stick, but also with a downside. That you have to give it back.
Potentially.
If the Hexen dies before the minion that you stole dies.
Yeah,
if you can somehow kill the minion before it needs to go back, then you're safe.
Like,
steal something
if you
with
take
Rush
a trampling rhino and then trade it with their stuff, that'd be cool.
Yeah, steal something with Rush, play Broom in the deck that plays this.
Yeah. This is not quite a nameless one. It's not quite a Maiev. Somewhere around there. But if I was playing Shadow Priest and I had a board and my opponent tried to slow down the game by playing Sword Eater, and then I play this and now it's my Sword Eater and there's a taunt in the way with your weapon and you have to hit your own minion while I hit you with my minions, I'm pretty happy with that scenario. I think that's pretty good.
Chat room's also pointing out you can silence it, so you could silence the Death Rattle off of Hexen.
You can. Yeah, a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
But I think that using this as a convoluted steal effect right now, I don't think makes a lot of sense when we have Cabal Acolyte and Wave of Apathy already in standard. Like, you can already do that more effectively, and you get a base taunt on Cabal Acolyte. This seems more like something you'd play in a more proactive strategy, where you expect to give it back in a couple turns, but you're going to use it until then, or you take a Rushman and you trade it away, or you take a taunt and get out of the way of your stuff. It's a different kind of approach, and I think goes in a different deck than the Zyrella deck, but it's interesting. Fun to think about.
Yeah, it's a part of it. I'm not like excited about silencing whatever I steal with this. Like, yes, it is technically something you can do, but I'm not like, oh yeah, let me use a 1 of legendary and 4 mana plus some other BS to silence the thing I stole, so I get to keep it permanently. It's not something I'm like stoked for.
You silence the Hexen, the 1/4.
My bad. whatever.
But still.
It's more all the mana and the combination of multiple cards that I'm not stoked about. But yeah. And we haven't talked about Shadow Word Devourer, 1 mana epic priest shadow spell, which reads, choose a minion. It steals 1 health from all other minions.
So steal would mean it takes 1 health from everything, and then does it heal itself, or does it add to its health total?
It adds.
Yeah,
It gets bigger.
I'm about to say,
It goes straight to
steal
its hips.
implies that it would be able to go
that's
above
what
its
I
max
thought,
health.
but just in case I play it and then it heals and then I'm sad.
Yep. It hits your minions. It hits their minions. What I like about this card is it's a very cheap shadow spell. And imagine playing this with Shadowcloth Needle. You end up with a very interesting Consecrate equivalent that also hopefully makes a Void Touch Attendant very large. And then you have a giant Void Touch Attendant and all their stuff dies and they take a bunch of damage. I like that. That seems cool.
I like when their stuff dies.
Yeah.
I think it's a profoundly cool effect for looking for kind of new directions to kind of send shadow-flavored priests. Steel effect is cool. I like this card a lot.
Yes. Is it time? Do we get to?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
talk about
time.
Rogue?
I was gonna say I know what Hat likes a lot, and it's Rogue.
Yeah.
Garrett and I can just shut up for the next 20 minutes while
All
Hat
right,
just
it is now the Ridiculous Hat
gushes
Show.
about Rogue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Ridiculous Rogue Show brought to you by Hat. Shadow,
Honestly, just this card. Just this one. I want to talk about this card.
just Shadowcrafter Scabs. You know, I'll let you do
You
the
see
honors.
this card?
Just read it. Just
Okay.
go ahead, take it.
Yeah, just go.
Take it away.
Shadowcrafter Scabs. This is a 7 mana rogue legendary hero card. When you play it, Battlecry, return all minions to their owner's hands. It's their minions and your minions. You also summon 2 4/2 shadows with stealth, gain 5 armor in your hero power, become Sleight of Hand, 0 mana. The next card you play this turn costs 2 less. Does not say spell, just says card. So like you could play this and then Sleight of Hand into a Swindle or whatever you want to do. So Vanish went away because it was, it was a spooky card. All right. And it wasn't played a ton. It was a 6 mana spell in old, I believe it was basic. I believe it was a basic card. And it made all minions go back to their hands. And it was mostly used in evil combo decks. And so it got removed right before Zephrys came out because, well, they didn't want that in Zephrys. They could have hard-coded the exception, but also just didn't really fit with what Hearthstone was about anymore. And then they brought it back this time. You pay 1 mana extra. In exchange, you get 8 attack that can't be targeted and a hero power that discounts your spells for the rest of the game. Your cards. I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this card. I'm going to put it in my rogue decks. I would put it in other decks if I could, but I can't because the client won't let me.
Yeah.
In Quest Rogue, it is impossible to stick a board against Quest Rogue now because you assassin this and you extortion that, and then when they play too much stuff, you're just like, nope, and put it right back in their hand.
You have played
And-
nothing.
Yes. And then also, like, you play this and you get back your 0 mana SI7 assassins or whatever. You can play those again. You can get back your quest reward scabs, so you can scabs again. And you get 2 stealth minions. So like even if next turn you just play Battlegrounds Battlemaster, that's 16. Because it's attack for 4 twice times 2. So this is going to be in a lot of rogue decks. I can see this in Poison Rogue, because Poison Rogue really has trouble with a wide board of taunts. You know what makes that go away? Shadowcrafter Scabs. You play it and they don't have no taunts no more. And then they get hit in the face by a big weapon. So, I don't know. I'm going to
And a
have
couple
a lot of
shadows.
difficulty. Right. I'm going to have a lot of difficulty not putting this in my rogue decks, no matter what the rogue deck is for the next little while.
Show me cards and hero powers that are most likely to make Garrett rage quit.
Yeah, I haven't
I'm
missed
afraid of
Vanish,
this.
so yeah, I think this is really good. And the thing about it, having the 2 shadows, the 4 attack and stealth, like, I mean, there's obviously things you can do. There's lots of classes that could potentially deal with it, but I mean, you've lost your whole entire board, and if you don't have exactly the right thing at the right time, it's just a lot of incoming damage.
Yeah. And there is some tension to this card. I do think if you're playing a deck like Quest Rogue, you end up developing a wider board on your side as well. So if you need the life gain from the armor, sometimes it can be tends to decide, do I want to keep the board and put my face at risk? Do I want to play this and then give up on the board? But you're not really giving up on the board because you're taking away whatever you played, but you get the shadows. You just throw the shadows in for fun. So I don't know.
You're
I
giving up on your
expect-
opponent's board, which isn't something I thought we were allowed to do.
Yeah, exactly. Just like, this game looks rough for me. You know what? Let's just start over. Let's just
Let's
do
start over,
Last
but
one didn't
I
count.
get 8-4 worth of stats in play, and you get none.
Yeah. I do envision people being upset about this card when they say the only thing I could lose to, oh, my board is gone. And then they close the client. I envision that happening at some point. I definitely expect we'll see some Trollden videos about this. This card in Arena seems illegal, like just not okay.
This card seems illegal in
And
Standard, but also I like buffing things in Paladin, so
yeah,
place
you know,
whatever biases you think that entails.
And if you're playing against decks with no board presence, if you're playing against stuff that plays mostly from hand, your Quest Demon Hunters or your Quest Mage, if that deck still exists or whatever, Fatigue Warlocks, this is not as powerful just because it's really focused on the board. But so far, Team 5 has been nerfing cards to aim towards a board-centric meta. And if they get there, then we also got ourselves a scab-centric meta.
This is a really good card, so good. I'm pretty sure we're just going to see a ton of it. And I don't think you're going to be alone, Hat, and just kind of going, oh, I'm building a road deck. All right, step 1, Shadowcraft your scabs. Step 2, pick 29 cards.
I was going to say autofill.
Both work. It's really just one is a faster way to get to the other. And there are other rogue cards too that are definitely like I think are aimed at different strategies or power levels. Like we look at the other rogue legendary here. I think this card is meant to be a little bit more fun, but maybe not pushed in the same direction. We're talking about what's her name? Seraphine Fleet Runner.
That's how I would choose to pronounce it.
Yeah. Seraphine Fleet Runner. It's a 5-mana 5/5 battlecry. Replace your minions in hand and deck with ones from other classes. They cost 2 less. This is much less in danger of causing people to rage quit. I think it will make some Trollden videos, but it's just not a very efficient effect by design because when they make this effect efficient, it's called Deck of Lunacy, and you don't want that. So they didn't do that. And instead, this is more like an unreliable Anka the Buried, for those of you who remember her way back in the day.
I do not.
Not even that far back. That was the 5-mana 5/5 that made all the death rattles in your hand into 1-mana 1/1s.
Now I remember it.
So this is Anka the Buried casting Renounced Darkness. So it's going to be a fun card, entertaining, but I don't envision this being competitive, and I don't think that it was designed to be, but I envision it being a whole lot of fun.
This is the kind of card that people like me play that were like super excited about Darkmoon Faire when that like golden ticket card came out. And I was like, I'm gonna make this work, and it never worked. So yeah, I'm gonna play Rogue, and I'm gonna play her, and then I'm gonna lose, and then I'm gonna be like, Rogue, and then I'm gonna go play something else. But I'm glad they print this kind of stuff because I'll try it.
Yeah. Other rogue cards we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. We've got Forsaken Lieutenant, a 2-mana 2/2 epic rogue minion with stealth, and it reads after you play a death rattle minion, become a 2/2 copy of it with rush.
I have tried to make slower value-based rogue decks, often with death rattles, work for a very long time. They have not worked very often. They worked when Necreum Apothecary was busted, then they nerfed it, and then it stopped working. There were various Death Rattle rogues you could try with Necreum Blade and Necreum Vial, and you make some mechanical whelps, whatever. I don't envision this being the direction that Rogue generally goes, but we have some Death Rattle synergy stuff. This and the objective, which is a temporary Baron Rivendare, right? It's a 3-mana objective that says your Death Rattles trigger twice, last 3 turns. There's something that they definitely want to happen here. I don't think that we have the support for it yet, but we've only seen half of the rogue cards, so I'm curious to see what the next ones are. But Forsaken Lieutenant, if you're playing the Death Rattle deck, the rush language here is pretty important because of how the transform rules work. If you just transformed into a copy of the Death Rattle minion, it would just sit there. So this is designed to immediately be able to trade and activate the Death Rattle. Kind of cool that you can preload it. Interesting design. I hope that we see some more Death Rattles to take advantage of this, but as of right now, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with it.
Probably gets
we
better
still
if you
have-
just put Shadow Scrapture Scabs in your deck, but I think that might be.
I mean,
because
that
of-
already happened. That was the first card.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, we only have half of the rogue cards, right? So we're only at 5 of 10. So there could still be more Death Rattle synergies to come for rogue to kind of give you some options and ways to play.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have one more rogue card to talk about, and it's one of my favorite names for a weapon in the history of this game. It is called the Lobotomizer. If you are not seeing the Ramones right now, we are not friends. It's a 2-mana, 2-attack, 2 durability, epic rogue weapon with honorable kill. Get a copy of the top card of your opponent's deck.
Too bad it wasn't just get a copy, too bad it wasn't just get the card, not get a copy. But that would be crazy.
I think they learned from Elucia to not make cards like Elucia.
Yeah, I know.
I defend it, but I also completely understand the psychology behind that type of effect being an absolute feels bad.
But rogues steal things. It makes sense. Like priest copy, rogues.
I know, but
steal.
we're too sensitive for
Okay.
thematic rogues in our Hearthstone game, okay?
No,
We
hold on
can't
a second.
handle it.
Hold
Our
on.
emotions.
Rogues don't just steal, they spy. What you're taking is the
Ah.
information of knowing what your opponent has.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're stealing. Information is the true valuable resource in the information era.
We literally just had a mini set based on dead mines, and they are a bunch of thieves.
But we're not there anymore. We left.
And we brought with us a bunch of thieves that are going to still be in our deck. If there was ever a time for thieving rogues, it would be the year we got anything related to dead mines.
But you give them a job with the SI7, and now they steal the information instead of the thing, and then here we are. Rehabilitation. It's important.
Also, Hachikumo in the chat room, they are not simply pirates. They are the combination of the mortal enemies of ninja pirates. Okay, that's SI7. Or no. Yes? No. Defias. Sorry.
You were close.
Getting mixed
Kind
up.
of, not really.
Never got a rogue
They
past
were
like level
You're
50.
exact opposites.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, diametrically opposed. Yeah, I don't think this card's going to be particularly impactful. I'd like to be wrong because I think it's fun as all get out.
It'll be in a Trollin video again. Rogue got a few of those, but the rate just isn't quite there. Like, you have to get 2 Xaxes kills and then gain value from both the information and the copies of the cards, and it's very easy to steal something that doesn't work with your deck at all. So I don't envision this being a meta contender, but looks interesting, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to Shaman. We've got another hero card to talk about, which I believe is the bane of podcasts everywhere, because we have to talk about this hero card, and then we have to talk about 5 hero powers. This is Brucon of the Elements.
Wait, only 4 hero powers. The 5th element is heart, and that doesn't get a hero power.
Wow. It's been a long time since I've heard that reference.
It's Captain Planet. He's a hero. He's going to bring pollution down to 0. You know how this goes.
Oh, I do. That's going to be stuck in my head now. Thanks.
Yep. I'm going to go get a green mullet. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh, he did have a mullet.
one of the 5 hero powers is like a placeholder thing.
Yeah.
Explain what this hero does.
Yeah, it kind of explains the meta explanation of the hero power. And also, Daryl Roman in the chat room is absolutely right. No, the 5th element is Lilu. Yes, multipass. Multipass. Anyways, Brucon.
There's a movie, Josh. It's called The 5th Element.
Oh my
That's
God.
the name of the movie.
Oh, okay.
I don't need to explain the joke further, right? We get where that goes.
No, the joke were her Resident Evil movies that followed. That was the joke. Brucon of the Elements is an 8-mana legendary shaman hero card. Gonna get 5 armor. I'm gonna stop saying 5 armor. The important part is battle cry. Call upon the power of 2 elements. 2 elements. Which then gets to the related cards of all of these potential things going on. So.
Oh man! All right.
Yeah.
So the explanation here is I can explain it intuitively, right? Because you've got earth, fire, wind, and water,
N-
and you pick
Uh,
two.
well,
What?
lightning.
Air, lightning. Yeah. So you've got 4 different elements. You pick 2 of them, and they happen. And then your hero power flips between all 4. That is the rough explanation. The specifics are nuanced and detailed. So I guess we do that now. So there's what? The 4 hero powers. There's the fire one that deals 6 to the opponent. There's the water one that heals all of your stuff, you and all your stuff, all friendly characters for 6. It's like a
Yep.
divine hymn. There's Earth Invocation, which is 2/2/3 taunty elementals. And then there's I think the lightning one is the one that
Lightning is 2
deal
damage.
Yeah, it's all enemy minions.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't go face. Not a
Right.
consecrate, does 2 just to the minions. And you pick 2, then your hero power will flip between all 4 of these, but the first turn you play this, the hero power will be one of the 2 that you didn't pick for the battle cry. And
Oh, okay.
the most important reason to remember this is because the best way that this card would work if you could pick it is fire, and then your opponent takes 12 and dies. They want that to not happen. So the 2 things that you pick will not show up in the first button that turn. For every other turn, it starts with 1 and then can flip to any of the other 3. It doesn't restrict the pool going forward, just they want to make sure that you can't 10 mana pyroblast people or deal 12.
Wait, can you choose
So-
the second one, or is the second one
Yes.
randomly chosen on your behalf?
No, so the way that it works is when you play Brucon, then you get to choose the 2 elements. So the first choice is like a discover of all 4 of the hero powers, and then
Yes.
the second discover is the remaining 3. So you
Okay,
can't double
okay.
up. Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought you said the second one was random, but never mind. Okay, that makes way more sense and makes me happy. That's great
Yeah.
design.
You can't whiff on the battle cry at all. You get whatever combination of the 2 you want. It's just the hero power part is important. I don't want people to pick fire for the first one and expect to be able to get the fire hero power, because you cannot.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like if for your battle cry you choose fire water, then the first hero power you have available to you will be lightning or earth. Am I understanding that?
exactly
And
right.
then the next turn is going to be random, right? It could be any of the
Yes.
4. So you're only locked out for that first
Well,
turn.
any of the other 3.
That
It
is
can't repeat
really
itself.
cool
Oh,
design.
sorry. Yeah. Any of the other 3. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get a duplicate, but God, that is exceptionally cool design. Like the way that it continues to self-limit of pick from 4, pick from 3. All right, here's a coin flip for one of the 2 remaining, which is going to be your starting hero power. Like that's really elegant.
Yeah, so I think Hula Gaming in the chat room is saying hero power is Rat King. So yeah, if you are a Battlegrounds player then and you've ever played Rat King, then that's exactly how he works. So
Yep.
think of
Or it's
Battleground.
like Dr. Boom Mad Genius without the rush
Oh,
part.
yeah.
And I don't want
Or like
people to draw associations with Dr. Boom Mad Genius, because this is not as good as that crazy insane card.
Yeah, I mean, heck, imagine if you knew what totem you were going to get when you hit that 2 button every turn with your normal hero power. Like it's kind of like shamans are not. It's not a new thing for them to have a randomness like assigned to their hero power. It's just that now you know what's going to happen when you hit the button, but it's still random what it's going to be at the start of the turn. So
Yeah.
one
of the issues with hero cards historically, it's really cool, and I think it'll be really intuitive how it plays. Just the explanation of the nitty gritty is kind of complicated. What's important to notice about the hero cards, what they learned from previous iterations. One of the problems we had with Rexar and with Dr. Boom Mad Genius, among others, and some of the Galacrons, is that you press the button, you get value forever, right? And so the hero cards, most of the ones we've seen, are basically legendary spells with a hero power that does something, but doesn't elongate the game. With Tamson or with Scabs or with Guff or whatever, you get something right away. Then you get an incremental bonus, but if you run out of stuff, you're out of stuff. And both Zyrella and Brucon are not like that. They both give you a little something every turn, but they're not reliable. They're not the same thing every turn. And they're also more expensive, because you should pay more for that kind of infinite value proposition. So they're recognizing that in a more aggressive meta, that if you're going to make resource-heavy heroes, if you want the game to go later, these are going to come later. You can't just start building up value right away. You have to work for it. You have to survive longer, and then you have to hope the game goes longer after that. And you're not going to be able to depend on the kind of value you're generating. The game is going to limit you somehow. It's very purposeful design to prevent attrition mirrors between hero cards, Galakron Priest just pressing the button every turn. They want that to not happen anymore.
I'm okay with that not happening.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I
And
played
it's hard
against
to get
them
mad about it.
today, and I beat them eventually, but it was like just repeating crazy death rattles. I think they had like 40 armor at some point, and I was just like,
Ugh.
this is just like, it's just not fun. Like, it's just grindy for the sake of grinding, and ugh.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
when we say we're looking forward to a slower meta, it's like, no, I want big things on board going back and forth. I want giants smashing
Yeah.
into each other. I want to have an interactive board. I don't want to just be staring at a hero that has a stupid amount of numbers over its portrait. Like, that's not what I
Yeah.
want at all. I want games to go long through interactivity and not through just waiting.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. The priest was just getting armor and waiting for me to die or give up. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing. I do not look forward to a mirror match if this takes off as an archetype, though, because then I feel like mirror match is going to come down to, well, who got fire the most?
there is the heal, the water, though, that cancels it out, right?
Yeah, and this is really like, I expect this to be played usually as a really powerful defensive card. You're gaining the 5 armor and healing for 6. If you want, you can play the 2/3s as well. 8 mana, heal myself for 11 and make 2 taunts. That's 11's a large number. And then you can also defend, or you can just sling a fireball if you really want to. I don't know if this goes in current Quest Shaman, but I could very easily see the support for a slower value heavy Shaman to exist, and this is a big part of it.
Yeah. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of BrewCon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A few more cards we haven't talked about in Shaman. We haven't talked about the other. Oh, goodness gracious, I hit a link. Sorry. Panic Picnic. I mean, it was something on Hearthstone, so I imagine it wouldn't be CD. But yeah. Anyway, the other legendary, Baron Glacier.
I like this card.
Is this an Alterac Valley thing that I wasn't aware of? 7 mana, 6/6, legendary elemental shaman minion. Battle cry: for each frost spell you've cast this game, summon a 3/4 elemental that freezes. A lot of freeze effects being revealed in the last week.
Yeah, Shaman's getting chilly.
Hey, Garrett, what's that flavor text say?
When you get hit by a royally bad pun, you just have to grin and bear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it. Because he's a bear.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff.
I like this card. Yeah. I don't know if it's good.
Just for the flavor text.
Well, I mean, we have the only frost spell for Shaman in the set is the next card we're going to talk about. So they're going to need some help.
Are you talking about Snowball Fight?
I am.
A 3 mana epic Shaman frost spell that deals 1 damage to a minion and freezes it. If it survives, repeat this on another minion.
And so
this
will target all minions, right? This is not just enemy minions. So this can just
correct
ping pong around the board and freeze everything.
It can and it will. This is Freezy Bouncing Blade. Now, if there's only 1 minion in play total, then it is 3 mana, do 1 damage to a minion and freeze it. It seems like not a great deal. Otherwise, this bounces until something dies. So it will just keep going around. So if you want to play against this, if you want to play around this, you build a wide board of 1 or 2 health minions, it probably bounces something, kills it right away, and then stops. But if you're playing Handlock or whatever, and you have 2 Flesh Giants in play, they're both the snowball's just going to bounce back and forth until one of them is at 1 health and one of them is dead. And that's a pretty good answer to Flesh Giants. So this is the kind of freeze they've been printing. We've seen freeze be really toxic in the past, and one of my least favorite cards to play against was Frost Nova when Mage figured out how to be proactive, because they would do a bunch of stuff and then freeze your whole board. They didn't print freezes that I don't think they printed that many freezes, if any, that only hit the opponent stuff. Almost all of it hits your stuff too, because they don't want you to freeze for the purpose of making them take a turn off and then killing them. It's supposed to be freezing for slowing the game down for everybody. So I do like that.
And then if you do manage to freeze a whole bunch of stuff on the board, then... Or no, wait, it's for each frost spell, not for each frozen minion. Never mind.
Well, and also it's for ones you've cast, and the repeats wouldn't count as you casting it,
right,
correct?
Yeah. So it would be 1-3-4 per snowball fight.
Yeah. So there's gotta be more frost coming this expansion, or we're gonna hit this with our classic of maybe it's setting the table for future expansions.
Well, they did. Yeah, they said that they wanted to slow things down, and freeze is definitely an effect that can slow down the game. But freeze shaman, frost shaman has never really been a thing, and just freezing minions in general isn't really as fun as bashing minions into other minions. So, yeah, I don't know. They seem to be giving it more support than it's had in the past. I don't know if it's viable, and more importantly, I don't know if it's going to be fun.
I'm always hesitant of freezing. I don't know. It's one of those things that I love it when I'm the one doing the freezing. I can't stand it when I'm the one on the receiving end.
Somebody's having a real bad time.
Yeah. It's like I have no experience with snow, but I hear when you're, around snow for pleasure, like you're skiing, it's the best thing in the world. But when you're around snow and you just need to get to work, it's like the pits. So
it's not great. Don't love it. Freeze is a mechanic that I generally am not a huge fan of, just because it tends to be used for evil and used proactively. But they seem to be pretty aware of that. I mean, when you see freeze, it's because someone wants to kill you and stop you from answering that with your Ray of Frost or Glacial Shards or your Frost Novas or whatever. But it seems like they were pretty aware of that when they were designing what's going on here. If you want to make a slower 6-set meta, that's hard to do because usually when you add cards, things don't slow down, they speed up. So you have to be really, really intentional about slowing things down. The thing that I'm most worried about, the number one thing I'm worried about, is that all of these freezy cards make aggressive strategies a lot worse. And then that leaves more then it shifts the meta towards more board-based, slower resource control. And then from hand decks, kill the control decks and don't have to worry about being beaten by the aggro. That is my biggest concern. They've nerfed a lot of the from hand stuff. They nerfed Garrote Rogue, though it's still pretty decent. They nerfed Quest Mage. It's not still decent. It's bad. But Handlock's still around. Fatigue Lock is starting to rear its head again. So if they end up successfully printing some good anti-minion strategies and they slow the game down and people start to generate resources, I just want to make sure that there's some safety valve somewhere for those from hand strategies to make sure that they don't end up dominating the meta without any natural predators.
There's got to be a joke there about natural predators of ice, but yeah. I got nothing.
Chat room is going to riot if you don't show them the frozen Staggard token that comes off of Baron.
Oh, my bad. I don't think I've seen this yet. Oh, look, what in the holy Miyazaki am I looking at?
That is not what I was expecting.
That is...
Oh, dear.
God damn it, Hat. Enough.
I can't help it.
It's very pretty.
If you keep it up, you're going to be going stag, Hat.
I appreciate the amount of effort you put in for that one.
All right, let's talk about Warlock. We've got quite a few Warlock things to talk about. Let's kick it off with their hero card, Dreadlitch Tamson. I don't think I noticed this before. What is going on with Tamson's head?
I don't know. It's like...
She's a lich.
A mask?
Oh, she's a lich now.
So you two didn't play Book of Merc's Carriel, huh?
No. I don't play single-player stuff in Hearthstone.
Okay, well, something happens to her at the end that makes her look like this, and you can probably figure out what it is if you know how liches do lich things.
You can't be a lich if you're unless you're dead.
Thank you, Garrett. I was trying to be subtle. So
that's supposed to be her skull? It's so little.
Well, think of Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad's got that giant barrel chest. Looks like he grabbed a barrel out of Donkey Kong and then put a Beetlejuice shrunken head on for his skull. It's on it's on point.
Also, eagle-eyed viewers from the chat notice this card is named Dreadlitch Tamson, so she's probably a lich because it says so right there on the card.
Anyways, Dreadlitch Tamson, 6 mana, 5 armor, legendary warlock hero card, battle cry, deal 3 damage to all minions, shuffle 3 rifts into your deck, and draw 3 cards. All right, what's a rift, you might ask? Well, it's a Fel Rift. I guess they thought there was too much text on Tamson already. Fel Rift is a 3 mana spell, but it casts when drawn, and it summons a 3/3 Dread Imp. A Dread Imp is exactly that, a 3/3 Dread Imp that has been working out. My goodness. Look at the pecs on that one. No card text, just a vanilla 3/3 demon. But there's also the hero power. Sorry, so goes with Swole Fin?
He's bros with Swole Fin.
Oh, you're right. They totally spot each other at the gym.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. And then the hero power is Chains of Dread. Still going to cost you 2 mana. Shuffle a rift into your deck. Draw a card. That seems...
So again, this is what we saw with Guff, right? Like that you generate a resource and you draw a card, but you don't actually, you get more stuff, but you don't extend the game, because if you were going to hit fatigue, you're going to hit fatigue. This doesn't keep you from hitting fatigue. It shuffles a card in, then pulls a card out. And also if you draw the cast when drawn, you're actually down a card in your deck.
Lessons have been learned.
Right? And this replaces Life Tap. A lot of the heroes are anti-synergistic with their quests. And this one in particular, Demon Seed is all about self-damage, and then this takes that away. So you probably don't play this in Handlock and Demon Seed Warlock, and that's intentional, and I'm glad that happened, because, boy, this is a card. This is a legendary spell with a hero power along for the ride, but deal 3 damage to everything, draw 3 cards, potentially get some free 3/3s, some free 3s if you will, and also gain 5 armor. That's a lot of things are going on there for 6 mana.
I was going to say, yeah, she's 6 mana too, so she comes down a couple turns earlier than some of the other heroes that we've been talking about today, so...
Yeah, this is an early hero card for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes sense, because you're kind of you're planting seeds or planting rifts for the future. This is kind of something you would like to get into play a little bit earlier.
This is a medium-sized board clear that also refills your hand and also gains you life. It does all the things that a slow-ish deck wants to do. You can compare it to the Warlock Galakron. It's not all that far off, but you draw cards that are in your deck instead of getting random stuff. Your board is not what's guaranteed, but the guaranteed deal 3 to everything. There's a lot going on here to like, and I expect that if there's any kind of slower Warlock deck that isn't Demon Seed based, that will absolutely see Dreadlitch Tamson in it. And this card makes me want to build a slower Warlock deck because of the value proposition being offered here.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing some of this Warlock. That is for damn sure. While we're talking about Tamson, let's talk about Tamson's Phylactery, the other legendary in Warlock. It's going to be 4 mana. It is a shadow spell, and it reads, discover a friendly death rattle minion that died this game. Give your minions its death rattle.
Which also works well if you're putting a bunch of 3/3s on your board.
Yep.
Because this gives all of your minions whatever death rattle you chose.
Is this the first legendary we've seen that synergizes with the hero card?
I mean, there have been other legendaries that do that, just I don't know if any were quite as explicit.
I mean, in this set specifically. So what we've seen so far kind of seems like both the hero card and then the legendary legendary card are going in 2 different directions. But this seems to be very much, not only is it literally linked in name because they both have Tamson in the name, but this looks to be...
It's a very clear line between the two, for sure.
Yeah. Paladin synergizes because you hero power and you buff side on, side in.
True.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a pretty direct synergy thing. One dream that I have to break right now. The way Elwyn Boar works is by matching the name of the minion that died. If one Elwyn Boar dies and then you give your board a bunch of Elwyn Boar death rattles, it will not do anything to get you closer to your Sword of 1,000 Truths. If 7 boars have already died, then all of your minions will summon you a Sword of 1,000 Truths when they all die, but that's probably not what you're looking for. So if you put this in your Elwyn Boar deck, nothing will happen when you trade your board off. Just don't do that. It's not
don't get disappointed, is what you're saying.
I mean, if you're trying to make Elwyn Boar work, you've probably made peace with the disappointment by now at this point in the expansion. but don't find a new and exciting way to be disappointed, I guess.
I
It
wonder in
wouldn't.
chat room, has anyone actually gotten Elwyn Boar to work and gotten their sword?
We've had
I've
at
tried.
least 3 people tweeted us.
Okay.
At least. There may be dozens of them. Dozens. Possibly. But yeah, this is a cool death rattle effect. Quite a few cool spins on death rattle we've talked about today. Let's talk about Sacrificial Summoner, a 3-mana 3/3 epic warlock minion with a battle cry that reads, destroy a friendly minion, summon a minion from your deck that costs 1 more. Sure seems like this would go well with a powerful death rattle.
I don't know what to do with this card, but this card gets my Vivid Nightmare award for card that I think is spooky and someone smarter than me will break. Because I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, but I know that somebody knows how they're supposed to kill something and then get something else, and it feels really cheaty. And I look forward to whatever that is. But I don't know what that is right now.
I can see that. This is the type of effect where something very spooky could happen, but without full knowledge of the entire set, or even down the road for the 2 standard years that this will be playable.
Yeah.
It always worries me, particularly when warlocks can do this kind of thing, summon something from their deck. I don't know why. It just always worries me.
This is recruity, and
Yeah.
recruit is it's a little spooky. Like
very, very
you could
specific recruity too. Like, yeah.
You could have a turn 2 Nerubian Egg, which is in standard, and then just eat it and get a 4/4 and a 3 drop. Like I don't know. That might be good enough by itself, but I think there'll be something scary that'll happen here.
Yeah, that does seem specific, right? Like they're already running flesh giants. Like it's all kinds of specific ways you can tool with this and target it. So it's a big old wait and see card.
Yes.
Wait and see what smarter people come up with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Hollow Abomination is the last Warlock card we haven't talked about yet. It's a 5-mana, 2/8 common Warlock minion with a battle cry that reads, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions, honorable kill, gain the minion's attack. Just the attack.
This is really cool. In something like if you're playing these, all sort of, or a lot of these seem very zoo style warlock. And so if you're going to like soften up your enemy's board with your minions and then deal 1 damage to that whole board, if you can get a couple of kills off of that, all of a sudden this could be a huge freaking minion and they have no board left.
I already don't want to deal with this as a 2/8 that comes down on 5. Like I'm already trying to think of like, boy, if this kills nothing, it's annoying.
I mean, it doesn't have taunt, right? So it's just a 5-mana 2/8 that only hits minions. This card seems like this feels like it's missing something to me. Because 5 mana is a lot to invest in a conditional payoff on a small board clear. If you're paying 5 mana, I would expect to get a little bit more damage, and you get other damage with other cards. It's 1 more mana than this is the Tamson Hero card. And that's a 3 damage AoE and the life and the cards. Like, this is dependent on your ability to dictate a 1 health board, and then also needing a non-taunt minion that gets beefy if your opponent's also playing stuff, and then also assuming that they can't deal with this. I think it's pretty optimistic in terms of what it's asking. I don't think this is tuned to be, super meta. But I think that if you're not in a board battle where you're already able to dictate the health of other minions, then this is unlikely to line up the way you want it to.
We get back on the zoo though, and like playing on curve and just having minions on board. I don't know. I don't think it's.
You could, but I'd rather be Shady Bartender.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's unrealistic that this gets a kill or 2.
Good. Depends what you're playing against, because some decks just don't even play for the board, or if you're playing against something like Handlock, maybe you kill a Slinger or a Tour Guide. But then you're still just left with a minion that doesn't really pressure, and your opponent doesn't feel compelled to kill and doesn't stop them from hitting you if they want to play anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of those...
I just feel like it's missing
that's right.
taunt or should do more damage or repeat itself or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not good against all those stealthies and Druid we saw because those have 2 health, not 1.
Yeah.
This isn't like the old days of Rogue dropping a bunch of 2-1 stealths.
Yeah. I mean, it could do something. If you need more AoE, you need targeted enemy AoE, this could potentially like kill a bunch of stuff and go big. I struggle to look at what we have now in Standard, where it seems to be about minions that scale pretty quickly, or about boards that go wide that scale pretty quickly. And this doesn't seem to quite fit with what things are doing right now. And if they're printing a bunch of freezy stuff and a bunch of big late game stuff, I don't know if that lines up better.
Yeah. Chat room is now getting excited because it can grow while on board. I knew that. Just figured it wasn't that big of a deal because if you're getting it while it's already on board, that means you just sacked a kill, or you just sacked an attack. It now has less health and grew attack, but now you don't get to use that new attack immediately. You have to wait till next turn on now damaged minion.
Well, and the other thing is too, it's going to be quite difficult to get those honorable kills, I think, because if you're just adding, like if you add stats to this minion with the 1 damage that you're dealing to all enemy minions, then like this is going to be like not unpredictable. Like you're going to know what you're doing, but it's not like I can say, oh, hey, I know they're going to play like a giant next turn. And this is it, if it's at 9 attack or 10 attack, that's not going to get you your honorable kill, right? So it's going to have these big attack values, and overkilling something isn't the same as honorably killing something. So I think that's like you might get this to line up one more time when you're naturally attacking with it, but I think that's going to be a lot trickier than killing stuff with your 1 damage AoE ping.
Yeah, and I think its value proposition falls off rapidly as soon as we're talking about like, oh, cool, I grew its attack, but it costs taking damage in the first place. This is much more attractive with that 8 health.
Someone in the face with it.
Yeah,
I knew I liked you. Yeah, and
like if I
and
can
really
get this up to 6 or 8 attack, like that's going face.
Get him.
Yeah.
And the word that you're looking for, Josh, that I think I agree with is awkward. This is an awkward card.
Listen, that's a very mean thing to say to the Abomination.
It's trying its best.
I'm not here to judge. Okay, well we're doing ratings. Maybe we're
You're
judging.
legit. That is the only thing we are here to do.
Okay. Well,
welcome to the Angry Chicken Card Judgment Edition. Yep. We've got a ton of new warrior cards. Only one of these we've already talked about, but let's kick things off with the legendary that so many people are stoked about.
Everyone's excited about this.
Rokara the Valorous, and dear God, I want that mohawk. Rokara the Valorous is a 7-mana legendary warrior hero card. Gonna get your 5 armor. Battlecry equip a 5/2 unstoppable force. Was an unstoppable force, you ask? Well, it's 7 mana, even though you equip it, but in case you're curious how much it costs. 5 attack, 2 durability weapon that reads after you attack a minion, smash into the enemy hero.
Smash it into the enemy hero.
Smash it into the... Yeah, sorry, that's a very important distinction.
That is a sentence of rules text that I very much enjoy. Smash the minion to the face. Get him.
Okay, so the minion has to survive the swing. Yes?
Yes.
Because if you deal lethal damage to the minion, then the minion just dies and the minion doesn't go face.
I think so, yes.
I was going to say, I said yes, but yeah.
The minion does not need to survive, says Celestalon.
What?
That's extremely unclear.
Okay, that's way... Okay, yeah, that's way different then, and much better.
So the word that surprises me here is after, because usually after means you check death states and then you do something else. I thought it would be a whenever.
Yeah,
however the other word that matters here is unstoppable. You can't stop the minion from hitting the hero.
Yes.
So like,
because otherwise this would be the stoppable force.
It's the kind of insistent force.
The inconsistent force.
So,
okay, yeah, bring it on. This is sick. So I was about to say, I think this is pretty bad if the minion has to stay alive.
Has to say it, yeah.
Yeah. But never mind. This is great. Kill the minion, deal damage to your opponent while killing minions. Yeah. Bring me Rokara the Valorous, please. And we haven't even looked at the hero power yet, which is called the Grand Slam, which looks more like a Grand Fist Pound. It's going to cost you 2 mana. And deals 2 damage. Honorable kill, gain 4 armor. All about the honorable kills, this expansion.
So this hero is inherently quite anti-synergistic with the quest, again, because it equips a weapon and then the Juggernaut overwrites the weapon. But I don't think... The Juggernaut wants the game to go a little bit longer. This doesn't. What we're looking to do here is we take all the things that Rokara is doing and we shove it at the enemy hero until their portrait explodes. Because her battle cry is damage. The effect on the weapon from the battle cry is damage, and the hero power is damage. So my favorite combo in Hearthstone is damage, damage, and damage. And we put that all in the enemy hero, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, there's only 2 durability on this weapon, though. Like when you say take all the things our opponent are doing and send it at their face. No, take 2 of the things the opponent are doing and send it at their face.
How much longer
over
do you think the game is going to go after you play this?
I mean, I don't know. How much damage are you taking by smashing into enemy minions?
I didn't say I was going to win the game. I said how much longer is the game going to go?
I only care if it's a short amount of time if I'm winning the game. I'm very concerned if it's a short amount of time and I'm not winning the game.
Well, I mean, obviously we hope for the first one, but either way, I don't think you're going to need too much durability here because I think that the limiting factor is the durability of heroes.
Yeah, again, though, like taunt, like low attack taunts suddenly become very cheap and easy counters.
You Grand Slam them. Boop. You just give them a little boop with the hero power.
What about Divine Shield? What about like a 1/2 that has Divine Shield and taunt? Who do we know?
Sounds annoying.
Now I want to go watch Tron.
I see. Oh, I get because Annoyo Tron. Yeah. Tron Legacy's better though. Anyways, so this rate is clearly not quite as compelling as when you look at Carriolar Scabs, right? Those are kind of the outliers here. This is meant to do a bunch of damage over about 2 turns and then hope that's good enough. But I would guess that what you can get done with Unstoppable Force, if they have a large taunt minion, you put it in their face, right? Like a Libram of Hope, that 8 healing gets undone immediately. And, you peel the Divine Shield off with the weapon or with the hero power, and then you hit it, and then it hits them. So this has to be in a more aggressive warrior deck where you're looking at this at the top end. This is very much not a controlling card. I think this actually goes pretty well as kind of you could turn the tables pretty quickly with the new warrior legendary into this card.
I was gonna say once we started talking about the warrior legendary that they kind of go together, and it's another cheapish finisher though. I mean, it's potentially a 9/9 with charge, and we were talking about this earlier because I died to a warrior who got Mr. Smite off the Juggernaut, and I was very tilted. But I don't know why they're messing around with charge again. Didn't we learn our lesson? I thought we rushed things now.
Well, let's read the card and find out what it does. Captain Galvingar is a 6 mana 6/6 legendary warrior minion. That has Jocelyn very concerned because it has a battle cry that reads, if you have gained 15 or more armor this game, gain +3/+3 and charge.
Yeah, and there's a 2 mana card that'll get you 2/3 of the way there.
Oh, are you talking about Frozen Buckler, another card we haven't talked about yet, which is 2 mana epic warrior frost spell, gain 10 armor at the start of your next turn, lose 5 armor.
Yeah, except it doesn't matter that you lose the armor because you gain 10, so you're at 10 out of 15 on turn 2. Yay!
I mean, if you cared about the armor, I think it matters that it loses the armor, but Captain Galvingar doesn't care.
All you're trying to do is get a charging 9/9. You give none Fs.
But so, like, the biggest problem with charge was you played minions every turn, and then you played Leroy, and then you killed your opponent. If your early turns are armor to activate this, then on turn 6 you attack, and your opponent goes to 21, and then you say, okay, what now? I mean, the answer is
That-
Rokara, and and then Smashy
Also, You're
Smashy.
assuming you're doing nothing between turn 2 and turn 6.
Wait, hold on.
Well, we're doing something. I don't think this is the charge that we've been worried about in the past is when your aggro Demon Hunter deck tops out with Kane and then all of your taunts don't matter because you've been getting hit in the face all game, or with Leroy. A charge in and of itself doesn't have to be problematic. King Crush is in standard right now, and I don't think that anyone's really had a problem with King Crush. Even Dino Tamer Brand, when we knew it was coming, but it cost 7. If
You
it's
leave
tuned
my hunter
appropriately.
minions out of this hat.
Okay. I'm
Charge
just
is
saying.
terrible unless Jocelyn is playing it in her hunter deck
Exactly.
that she's not winning with because she put King Crush in her
Now
hunter
you're
deck.
Understanding. Charge is
I follow
fine
now.
as long as you lose.
So maybe you just play red charge instead of green charge. It's Christmas. You could maybe alternate. I don't know.
I do find the argument of charge that requires armor being a sound argument. That is a sound argument. It's like, I need to do the thing that doesn't do damage to get the thing that guarantees damage.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm glad that this wasn't in standard with Skipper, Armorsmith, and Bloodsworn, because that would have been spooky. Because then you gain all the armor in one turn, and then you play this, and you Interrage it, and you Bloodsworn it, and your opponent takes 22. I'm glad we didn't do that. I don't think we needed to do that.
Let us know how this goes,
those days are
Wild.
gone. Yeah, Wild's got other problems right now. They're fine.
No,
They're
I
okay.
meant it. Like literally, they get one of two ways. If it's broken, they let us know, or if it's not, they're like, please. It takes a lot more than 9 damage from a charge to make a wave in Wild.
Yeah, for 6 mana? What games go
Yeah.
with 6 mana?
I don't know if Wild can make it to Reno Jackson right now. I don't think that Galvingar is going to be the thing that breaks it.
What have we not? That's everything. We covered everything rather quickly there on Warrior between Rokara, Captain Galvingar, and Frozen Buckler. I love the art on Frozen Buckler, by the way.
That card is interesting.
Yeah, I do like the design. I know we kind of just skipped over it and to talk about Captain Galva, whatever, but Buckler's really interesting design because it's very much the kind of thing that you can like play one turn if you are expecting to take a whole bunch of damage, because it doesn't say at the end or the start of your next turn lose 5 health. Like if your opponent has chewed through all 10 of that armor, then there's no effect for you at the start of your next turn. So it's interesting design. I like it a lot. And it's kind of it's like a panic button. It's let me stay alive through what I think is going to be their crazy combo turn.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's like it's a light pause, because if their reaction is I just won't damage you, you still get 5 armor out of the equation.
Yeah.
So
Well, you get effectively more than that because you also gain the health of how much they were attacking for. The mental gymnastics you can do evaluating this card are very complicated, and I've gone back and forth on it many times, because also they just attack you down to 5 and then the life goes away. If you have pre-existing armor, then it actually can lose you life sometimes. If their board is smaller, then sometimes you're benefiting them by playing this. If it's larger, sometimes they attack there anyways, and then it's 2 mana gain 10. We're going to have to play with it. It's a very complicated effect that's hard to intuit how it's going to work, but it is an excellent Galvingar activator. Galvingar, Captain GVG. That's what I'm calling him. Yes.
Oh, I like it. Kilmer Knock in chat room says show's already going long, but we can get Garrett nerding out on the art in the X pack for just a second. Yeah, I think it's great. The art in this set has been really, really impressive. I mean, just look at this Rokara portrait. It's delightful. I love a good
just like
blue.
the Mohawk.
I do love the Mohawk, but I also love a good blue shadow. And there's some good blue shadows happening. Like, look at that shadow just coming, cascading off of the Mohawk. It's great. We got some atmospheric perspective with that back pauldron. It's good stuff. The one I wanted to geek out about, but I was just like, we have so much to talk about, but give me a second here, was, oh crap, where was it? Oh my goodness. I think I went past it. Who was I thinking of? What was the dope-ass Night Elf legendary?
Rogue. Seraphine. Runner.
There we go. For some reason, I thought it was way up. Yeah, Seraphine. I'm a sucker for rad Night Elf art. And I've had this haircut on 9 out of my 17 Night Elves that I've rolled. So, yeah. Seraphine's art is just great. Look
Can we
good
just
elf
take a
hair.
moment and show the popsicooler art since we're talking about art?
Oh, where's
The
Popsicle?
cutest!
Where's
It's in neutral, all
oh,
the way
down in
down at the
neutrals?
bottom. Yep.
Popsicle, where'd you go? I think it went past you. Oh, yeah, this is just Matt Dixon as hell.
It's Matt Dixon.
I didn't even
yep.
look. Yep, Matt Dixon. Oh, that's great.
He has little ice cream cones of all the mercenaries.
I really want some ice cream now. Thanks for this. Thank you.
I'll take a bracone. Please. One bracone.
I
So
can't.
they're out
I like
for-
this one.
I'm
As
punned
a
out.
fan of Matt Dixon, I very much like this one. Popsicooler.
I am punned out. Also, all of the wolves in Druid, I really like the style of them. I particularly like the chunky fur look on Dire Frostwolf. Like who is this artist? Anton Zemskov. Anton, I don't know you. You don't know me, but I like your chunky fur that's going on in here. That's great.
I
Just
really
we've
like
had
the
leaner
kennel-
wolves in the
kennel
past,
art,
and
too.
this is not that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
yeah, the kennel.
Can we put out a petition to please start re-updating the press site with full artwork again? The key art isn't even currently up over there for Fractured and Alterac. Quite a while ago. The how frequently that's been updated, it kind of fell off. I don't know what changed, but I missed the full illustrations.
Can I
Well,
also
remember-
make a request that because we haven't seen the animated version of the Frostwolf Cub yet, but can it please be wiggling its butt in anticipation of the pounce?
Seconded.
Please?
Seconded.
That's got to be what's going on, right?
It has to be, right? Look at that. That is just all ready for a butt wiggle.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Anyway, yeah. I want to see the full illustrations again. I'm left hoping that the artists are on Twitter and post the full illustrations themselves.
Yeah. I'm guessing that it'll be updated on the site, but remember that the Blizzard employees were gifted a vacation this week, so all the developers in chat are just bored because they didn't get to work today, and they are just so excited about the set. That must be it.
Yes. I mean, I hope they're here for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like that too.
That'd be nice.
But, you know.
Wouldn't it?
I think so.
All right. Any neutrals anyone's dying to talk about besides Popsicle before we leave?
Nah, I think we're good.
I mean, it's briefly, spammy Arcanist. This is Defile. That's what this is. This card is Defile. So cost 5 instead of 2, but there's going to be a lot of math again. So I'm glad that it costs 5 and not 2 because then it's much less likely to see play. But this is a
It
powerful
does leave
effect.
the 3/4 behind, right?
It does. It says other.
Yeah, it's Defile on a 3/4 stick for
Yeah.
5 mana, but the battle cry deal 1 damage to all of the minions if any die repeat this. So yep. But again, I think it's very important that it's 5 and not 2. That's a big difference.
Yeah. And then the other card I want to touch on briefly, Frozen Mammoth, the 4 mana 6/7 beast. This is frozen until you cast a fire spell. It's a neutral. So this is interesting because there are fire spells where we wouldn't expect there to be fire spells. For example, I might play this in Handlock because Altar of Fire and Backfire are fire spells.
No way.
So then, yeah, way. So then you can just thaw this out a bunch of different ways. And honestly, 6/7, there's just good stats for the cost.
It is. An interesting way to play with freeze this expansion.
Yep.
We talked about
Ooh.
multiple freeze effects, but this one's quite clever.
Kilmer in the chat room is also saying that Explosive Trap in Hunter. Speaking of classes that tend to like beasts,
Oh, you are
that
right.
is a fire spell.
Yep. Explosive Trap, Perpetual Flame, Molten Blast, and then also like half of the mage cards.
I don't think mage. I don't know. I don't think mage would be. Mage is just doing other stuff, right? Their decks got to be full. I don't know. Do they have room for Frozen Mammoth?
Are they interested in minions? Is my question.
Yeah.
I think the answer is no to both of you. I don't think that we want to play this, and I don't think we have room for it. So, but maybe.
Well, especially when we have to make room for like 9 mana spells and hero cards.
Yeah.
I'm just confused about like the lore ramifications of there being a frozen mammoth in a world where mammoths are just walking around normally.
Flash freeze.
I guess we
they're
also
not all frozen. It's just this one.
This is also
There are
a
other
world
mammoths.
where we have humanoids that can freeze things on command. So never mind.
Yeah.
My question has been answered. Well, great. Well, we will return
done.
to talk
We're
more
done. We did it.
cards. Yeah, we'll return to talk more cards next week. I may be eating a leftover turkey sandwich while I do so. It'll be lovely. Some turkey hate on Twitter today. I'm confused.
I've noticed that people don't like dark meat, and I think that's silly because dark meat's delicious.
Dark meat is delicious.
We're talking about American Thanksgiving listeners. That's what we're doing.
It's arguably the superior meat.
I mean, I'm not arguing with you, but also like I don't go around eating turkey all the time. It's a Thanksgiving and sandwich food. So like those are sometimes a Thanksgiving sandwich, but it doesn't have to be. That's the middle of the Venn diagram.
I'm just happy as long as it's not ham.
I didn't know people ate ham for Thanksgiving. Like I grew up Jewish, and so like ham for Thanksgiving wasn't exactly a thing. So then I learned that like some people that's just what they have, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, but didn't come up a lot in my upbringing.
Gotcha. Good to know. Oh, Celestial, I'm with you. Pho is disappointing ramen. Pho is the lowest tier of like noodle soup based dinners for sure. It's just cilantro water at a certain point, which is no one wants that.
Ugh.
We should make some progress towards the outro here.
Yes, hopefully there's ramen or udon at the end of this outro. Anyways,
more delicious beefy Vietnamese soup for me.
Hey, that's cool. You're right. And you know what? If we go to a pho place, they probably have a banh mi, and I won't be mad about ordering that. So it's all good. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. If you like what we're doing here, you want to support the podcast, check out patreon.com/TAC. Show's always going to be free, but we have this really terrible business model where we put things out for free and then we ask you to pay for it after the fact. So if you feel like throwing us a few bucks, head over to patreon.com/TAC. Also, speaking of the Patreon, huge thanks to our producers, Declan H, Jeffrey D, and Dustin C. Thank you for the support. We've got 2 more producer slots open, so check it out if you want to become a producer on The Angry Chicken. Other than that, the back catalog of Angry Chicken episodes can be found at theangrychicken.com or over at youtube.com/amove2. That is a numerical 2 if you want to see our video archive. We're typically live Monday nights right here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv. And before we go around the table, just want to say thanks again to the Hearthstone team for giving us 2 cards to reveal today and making them spicy as hell. I couldn't have asked for like spicier cards to reveal for the first time we get a card reveal.
We got a hero card. That was really cool, especially since we were super hyped for them last week.
Yeah.
Well, and also shout out to the Blizzard developers who saw the picture of the other card, the Rune of the Archmage, and kept tagging us on Twitter saying, "Oh, you got that card?" That was entertaining. I was entertained.
Yes, very much so. But around the table before we go, Joss, when you're not doing the Angry Chicken here with us 2 dorks, where can you be found?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joss Plays. That's JOCE Plays. You can also check out my general gaming podcast, The Gamers Inn, where we are currently raising money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. So if you'd like to support our Extra Life campaign, you can go to bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2021.
Ridiculous Hat, how about yourself?
You can find me eating pho and turkey, but also you can find me on multiple other Hearthstone podcasts. I do Coin Concede, making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you over at coinconcede.com. And then Vicious Syndicate, we take a data-driven look at the standard metagame over at vicioussyndicate.com. Garrett, where can we find you?
Garrett Art is my Twitter handle, 2 R's and 2 T's in Garrett. I trust you know how to spell art. Everything else I do can be found at amove.tv, but I would like to point you over to Nexus Gaming News, which has been overtaken by my first time ever journey through Final Fantasy XIV. So if you want to know, how I was tricked into playing a game I couldn't stand to even look at for more than 5 minutes, and now I'm enjoying immensely. Find Nexus Gaming News wherever it is you get your podcasts, or better yet, check out the YouTube version, because I have been flexing my video editing chops really for the first time on a podcast project over at youtube.com/amovetv. That is where you can find the video version of Nexus Gaming News. And the last 2 episodes will get you up to speed on how it was converted to Final Fantasy and why I'm enjoying it so much. So it's going to do it for this episode of The Angry Chicken. Until next time, everybody, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
That's the show. I have hit stop recording. Thanks for hanging, chat room. Thanks for hanging, devs. It's
Thanks, y'all.
great to have you here.
Thanks for being civil. You guys are awesome.
Chad, thanks for having the correct opinion about pho. It's
Chad, despite your opinion about pho, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being you. I was happy by how many people, when I smack talked ham earlier, I was like, oh, wow, there's a lot of people who agree with me. I thought I was going to get flamed for this.
I like ham.
I mean, like, I'll eat it. I just find it to be like, if you had any other pork to offer me, I'd rather have it.
I agree with that. I like ham is it's unexciting, but like it's acceptable. And like with some cheese, like I could pair some ham with some cheese. I accept that. But also every morning I have either a bacon, egg, and cheese or a sausage, egg, and cheese, and those are fine.
They're better than ham,
products.
egg, and cheese. I'll tell you that right now.
They are.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's. I know I've had some really expensive hams, and I'm like, no, I just don't like sweet meat that tastes like Lunchables for adults.
I mean, there is good ham. You can spend more and get ham that costs more and it tastes better. But like, I don't know. I'm going for a pork product.
like
ham is just not
maple-based
something.
hams. We have many maple-based hams.
Mm.
You know that's somewhat stereotypical.
That does
Oh, I
not
know.
surprise me that
Doesn't make it bad.
yeah, sweet meat is popular in a country known for maple.
Also, whatever they're calling any pork product in Italy, I don't care if it's prosciutto or serrano ham or pancetta or whatever. If it's an Italian word for some pork product, it's probably delicious. And I don't know if it qualifies as ham or not, but like I'll eat it.
Yeah, I will fight you if you're like, oh, ham's great, prosciutto. I'm like, no, prosciutto's great. Ham is not. Big difference. Big difference. I don't mind ham as a starring role, but like, man, I'm always bummed come Christmas. They're like, we've got just ham and sides. And I'm like, I guess I'm having sides. It's always disappointing.
What is the traditional Christmas side dish? Because again, growing up Jewish, Christmas also not super big in the house.
That's a good. I feel like it varies from like region to region. You know, being in a southern warm place, like there was always still like as if it was a summer freaking picnic here. We'd have all the salads, your potato salad and your macaroni salad, on top of I feel like your usual stuff like mashed potatoes and probably green beans. Or maybe a green bean casserole. There's a lot of green bean casserole at Christmases growing up for us. Yeah, corn. That's a big one. It's kind of like everything at Thanksgiving except my favorite part, which is the turkey.
And the stuffing.
So you don't
Stuffing,
do
right? We all love
you
stuffing.
do turkey at Christmas too.
I have finally won over my family. And in recent years, we started doing turkey at Christmas. Also, because of COVID Christmas last year, I got to choose what I cooked. So I had turkey for Christmas last year.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
But also Canadians have a bigger gap between their Thanksgiving and their Christmas, so like you can run back the turkey as more socially acceptably.
Yeah. I got on a kick for a while that I was like, I'm an adult and I want a Thanksgiving turkey sandwich. So what's stopping me from buying turkey breasts from the grocery store?
That's true. It's not like turkey disappears the rest of the
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
You always
And
get turkey.
and I gotta say, getting the already like deboned breast from a grocery store is really easy to cook correctly and just make sandwiches out of for a week. And now that I've said that out loud, I may start doing that again because I forgot that we did that. Katie and I were really into that for like a year, or like maybe once every 3 or 4 months we would do a week of turkey sandwiches where we bought one turkey breast, just to make sandwiches.
Ironically, I bet the time that you usually think of that as a good idea is also shortly before you have no interest in doing that again because it's going to happen pretty organically in the next 3 days.
That's a good point. Yes, that is going to be happening. Yes.
I'm hungry now. Can we bring the stream down so I can go eat?
Yeah, we can bring the stream down so you can go eat. Chat room, we're going to bring the stream down so everyone can go eat. And if you're like me and you already had dinner, listen, you earned a snack. Treat yourself. Thanks so much for hanging out, everybody.
I didn't say I didn't have dinner. That's not what I said.
Then treat yourself.
I will.
I've got leftover Publix cookies calling my name.
Ooh.
They're really chewy. I'm super excited. All right, folks, thanks for hanging.